right, welcome everyone to our informal panel discussion on digital burnout. I feel like informal is the only way I get things done sometimes. If I have less than a week to prep for it, it's going to happen. If you give me a month and a half, I'll do that ADHD like paralysis thing where I have all the time and then I have no time. Hooray, time blindness. Okay, I would love for our panelists to introduce themselves. Everyone you see on the screen right now is a biz bestie of mine from one of Yael Bendahan's programs. And we have all stayed in touch in our own little Slack channel. And so they were the first people that I thought of when Sarah Sala, who hopefully will be joining us soon, mentioned this topic. I was like, I've got to invite these girls on and have a panel discussion about this because everyone here has gone through it in different ways. And then Sarah, as I mentioned, Sarah Sala is a member success coach in Evelyn Weiss's programs. And I know her from there. And she's the one who brought up this topic in the first place. And so massive thanks to Sarah for that. And I'm hoping she can join us. I realized right before I went live that she's in the UK and they went on daylight savings time a week ago. And I'm hoping that the time shift has not messed with her ability to attend. But we can mention her thoughts from our discussion before this when we get going. Okay, let's start with Julie. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Julie. Tell us who you are, what you do, how you help people.
Sure. Yeah, I'm Julie Hankins, and I'm a fractional CFO / accountant, but I do not do taxes. So I always put that clarification there, but I know how to speak to tax accountants. But in my business, we support female business owners who are looking to achieve both their personal and their business goals and help provide them the insights around their financials so that they can achieve those goals and, actually build the business they love instead of being, the business owner and the boss that they hate. We don't need to recreate that again, because a lot of us, that's the reason why we left where we were before and started here. So we love supporting women who are on that journey and that path.
So fantastic. Thank you. Okay, Kate.
All right, I'm Kate Martin. I am a systems and tech specialist. I primarily work with ADHD women entrepreneurs because I know that best. And yeah, I do all things website building to helping people figure out where they want to take their business.
That is so awesome. And I'm just going to mention, we were talking as we were getting ready here. At some point, somebody's dog is going to bark. My cats are going to have a fight. Somebody's kid will run through half naked, and it will all be okay, because this is why we all started our own businesses anyway, so that we could be home with all of the chaos, all the beautiful chaos that is our lives, right? Okay, Katie.
Yeah. My name is Katie Gable. I am an organic content marketer, and I specialize in short form video, so Reels and TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I've known Jen for a good while now, and I've gone through periods of burnout on my own. And especially, I think it's an interesting thing to navigate as people who work in online business and who are consumers of online businesses. So I'm really excited to talk about that, and especially from the social media aspect, because I know that's a really common struggle with people who are, creative and experts, but social media can just sometimes be such a drain. So definitely really excited to bring that to the discussion today. So thank you, Jen.
Awesome. Thanks, Katie. Okay, Beth.
Hey, I'm Beth Chernus. I do SEO and content strategy for financial and accounting firms. And basically, I'm helping them get found online and bring in leads. I definitely agree with what Katie said about the online burnout being both a provider, you work with their clients, and just like also we are consumers of it. So I was super excited. Jen, thanks for inviting me to talk about this. I definitely just went through back-to-back hurricanes and struggled a little bit to get back on the horse afterwards. So super excited to chat about this.
And I love that you brought that up, Beth, because I think so often, because we're the one running our own business, we just think when traumatic events happen to us, we have to get right back on, right back into the content churn, and it's not healthy. Frankly, it's just not healthy for us not to like acknowledge that a really traumatic thing just happened and we needed like take a rest. So I love that you brought that up. Thanks, Beth. Lisa, tell us about your beautiful chaos of your life.
I'm a homeschooling mom of 9. I am a business and marketing strategist. So got the whole burnout thing down on both sides. With that, and it's something that nobody talks about. They talk about like the guilt that comes with being like a mom and a business owner and doing all the things, but they don't talk about the burnout and the burnout on both ends because those are totally different things. And I think sometimes they get confused. And so yeah, I'm glad you invited me. I'm excited to be here and share.
Thank you. Okay, and Sarah Hall.
Hi. So I'm Sarah Hall Virtual. I'm an online business manager helping women with organization, operations, and try to take time off of business because it's a lot and we don't do it for ourselves enough. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much, Jen, because I have basically always lived my life through burnout. Like in corporate, every 2 to 3 years, burnout. So I would switch jobs. So to see it on this end as well, just a digital burnout, like you're right, it's all over the place. No one really talks about it or what to do and how to handle it. You feel so alone. So I think this is amazing that like just us, this beautiful panel of women that like just feel it, know it, and just want to support one another. So I'm so excited.
Yay, thank you. Yeah, I am really excited to talk about this, not from the standpoint of, oh, I worked so hard in my business and I ended up in burnout, and here's the solution that I want to sell you for getting out of burnout, right? Because that tends to be the only way we often see, content about that. So I'm going to pull up my little, oh, I can't minimize while I am zooming. So I'm just going to open my doc. I have some questions to kind of guide our conversation here. And I won't be able to see your faces, but I trust that you're still there. All right. So I would love for us each to go through and talk about how we define burnout in a digital business context and how we think burnout shows up for both business owners and their clients, or maybe how it has shown up for both us, ourselves, and our clients. So I'll lead off here, and then you guys, we can just, you can unmute and hop in as you feel inspired. I, as most of you know, work a 9-to-5 job alongside my business right now. And that is a huge challenge for so many entrepreneurs, especially right now where we're seeing the economy is really tough. We're seeing our clients buying in different ways, either not able to afford or just so tired and burned out from all of the offers that they get and all of the things that they've tried that have not worked for them. I think a lot of people are needing to go back to 9-to-5 jobs or part-time jobs to help supplement their business. And for me, as an ADHD entrepreneur, I have been able to juggle those. It's been a really nice, like, creative challenge to my brain. There's always something to switch to. But for the last several years, we were taking care of my mother-in-law as she was winding down with dementia, and then she passed a little over a year ago. And that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. It was just too much, and I burned myself out really, really badly trying to juggle all the balls. And I think this, goes to what we were saying before, where I'm just gonna let Sarah Salet in the room, and we'll have her introduced when I finish here. We often don't acknowledge that a traumatic thing is happening or has just happened in our life, and then we end up pushing when we shouldn't be pushing. So that's me. And Sarah, I'm gonna have to show non-video participants. Sarah, I don't know if you can be on camera or not, and that's totally fine if you can't. But go ahead and introduce yourself. Sarah is the person who brought up this topic in the first place. I'm super grateful to you, Sarah, for that. and bringing this super important topic. If you're talking, you're on mute. All right, we'll let Sarah get settled. While she's doing that, does anyone else want to speak to how you or your clients have experienced burnout, especially recently?
Yeah, I'm happy to kind of continue what you were just talking about, Jen. It sounds like we have somewhat of a similar last couple of years. So in my family, we were kind of dealing with the last 2 years. My husband was very extremely burnt out in his corporate job. I still was figuring out what I wanted to do with my business and had been pivoting a few different times and where I wanted to go. He was at the point of just pure depression. And I just said, no amount of money is worth this. Just quit. We have enough savings and we will just figure it out. And let's just try to get to where we go, wherever you want to go. And you have that kind of sabbatical and discovery phase. And I will do my best. But I found I was spinning my wheels, not really knowing what to do because I had so many different voices telling me what I should do. And so I wasn't very clear on what my path wanted to be. And it's basically taken me 2 years to figure that out. But while that was happening, it's that added stress and pressure around, we knew we were burning money at a very fast pace. But on the opposite end, my brother had been diagnosed a year earlier with his second round of cancer, but we had just found out when my husband quit that it became a terminal diagnosis. And so we were living on borrowed time on top of that. And so everything just kind of comes to light. And I don't talk about it a lot. Sorry, because it's still very much an open wound. But it just puts everything into perspective. But then when I sit down to do work or whatever I'm doing and what I know I should do or what everyone is telling you to do, it becomes a coping mechanism. And so then that just kind of feeds it further of, I must do this, I must do this, I must help, these people who are my clients that I care so much about. I must help my husband, I must help my family, be there for my brother, my parents, like all these things. And then I kind of became the last person to help at the end of the day. And unfortunately, my brother passed away. And within that same month, I went through my own health struggle and needed surgery. And it just felt like, what is happening? And again, trying to come back for that, going back to those same coping mechanisms, it just became very clear of like, you need to pump the brakes because nothing is clear in your life right now. And you have to process grief, but also you need to process what has happened the last couple of years and how to get yourself out of that cycle. I'm not saying that I'm great at it at all, but I think as women and especially as mothers, we tend to care for everyone else. And then when we show up in our businesses, especially when we are service-based, we show up for all our clients and we forget, why am I really doing this? Like we all know our why, but we really don't remind ourselves on that daily, and burnout will easily take over because you need to be doing all of these different things and you don't really know how to get yourself out of it. And so it's just a vicious cycle. But yeah, it's something that's become a really big part of my story in the last couple of years of just, I cannot, like I said before, I can't, not only in a toxic corporate way, but in my own way, create a business that I end up resenting or hating because it's just not serving me anymore, because I'm using it as a coping mechanism instead of using it for the good that I want it to be.
Wow, I had not really thought about the way that we use our business as a coping mechanism. I totally did that. Thank you so much. And I'm sure, so with Julie's work, I'm sure that now you're even better able to help your clients find ways to make sure that their business finances are in order so that they can take that break. They can pump the brakes if they need to, when those kinds of things come up in their lives, because
yeah,
it
and
does.
is one thing that
Life's gonna life.
Yeah, one thing that became very clear to me, and you mentioned Yael earlier when we were in her program, one of the things I talked to her about was like when all of it kind of came crashing down, I said, "Oh my gosh, I can't be the only one who's delivering services anymore." And that just like, because what if I can't anymore? And like for you, Beth, with the hurricane, like, holy crap, what if I can't anymore? What are they going to do? And it was like, wow, I can't build this whole thing that I have in my mind and these amazing goals on top of me using it as a coping mechanism, but then me being so burnt out that I can't even deliver. And if something happens to me, that's worse. So how do I make this actually feasible and not build the pressure on myself so hard on top of all the other things that we should be doing
I'm
too?
going to back off of that, Julie, because
Yeah.
I was it 2 years ago, got really sick in the midst of trying to do all the things related to courses and live launches and everything. I mean, half of you all know about that. And what I realized was that I needed to outsource things. And like people don't really talk, oh, you need to make the money, you need to do the thing. And I was so excited about doing the thing, but then I got super sick. I mean, back-to-back sinus infections over on the holidays. Q4 is really busy for me and my clients. And I was just like reaching that point where it was like, I cannot be this only person because the clients need you to show up. But when you are so sick that you cannot be there, and maybe your kids get sick, and it was really hard. And that's when I hired a VA, and I've reached out to you about bookkeeping services. I have a subcontractor that does writing. I have someone who does Looker Studio, but just that mentality of saying, I don't have to be the person that does it all was such a relief. And actually, with the hurricane coming, I was all prepared. I have subs that I was like, hey, this is coming. I'm going to give you a few more articles to work on that I don't really have the time. And they're like, sure, we'll do it. And, I just tell with the clients, hey, by the way, I'm going to need a few extra days. And they were very easy to work with. But like, I don't think I could have dealt with. I was also traveling for work to conferences in September, and I had family vacation, then two hurricanes. It was like, what the heck? And I couldn't have managed to where I am right now if I hadn't have also mirrored that and thought it can't just be me. And I think that's I don't know if that's a solution for everyone, but thinking long term that investing in other people to help you out and support you. I mean, Kate Martin's helping me with my website launch. I can't do it myself. Like, it's either Katie and her trend reports. I can't find all the music. Like, really finding those people and those ways that you can move your business forward, but also not take it all on your own.
100%. Thank you, Beth. Let's take a quick break from this topic and introduce Sarah Sala, who is the reason we are here today because Sarah brought up this amazing topic. Thank you, Sarah. Please introduce yourself. Tell us what you do, who you serve, and why
Hello.
this
Hi,
is top of mind
everyone.
for you.
So I had a bit of a crazy one there. Like I got the time differences mixed up because it's now the UK GMT time. So yeah, it got a bit mixed up. So sorry, and my kids are at home. But yeah, my name's Sarah Saleh. I'm a digital marketing specialist, strategist. I've been in digital marketing for about 4 or 5 years. I've been doing my own digital marketing for a business for about 6, 7 years now. And obviously, I work with Jen. We both work for the same client as one part of one of our freelance roles. And we're having a bit of a discussion, mainly partly because I'm feeling it, but also because I'm speaking to a lot of my clients. So a lot of my clients are coaches, online service providers, and they are feeling burnt out digitally. And we speak about burnout a lot, I know, but this just feels different. The conversations and the vibe and the energy I'm getting is different than what it's been before. And I've done quite a lot of research. I've kind of created a white paper. I do this just for myself and my own stuff so I can create content later. With the help of AI as well, obviously. And a lot of it's coming from there seems to be a circle. There seems to be a bit of a circle coming to head. So, like myself, I started in digital marketing or being a kind of specialist and a coach and course creator in lockdown. I used to work in telecoms. I was in consulting. I didn't work for a number of years. I was a stay-at-home mum, right? And I got a job as a sales manager for a travel agency. And part of my role was I had to find my own leads. And I was like, I'm at home with the kids. How do I do this? So I taught myself digital marketing. I think a lot of us probably got a very similar thing. Loads of people starting like network marketing and things like that. So then COVID came. What happened? All of my revenue was gone. Like all my commissions were gone. We had to claw back stuff. I had to give money back. People shouting at me down the phone, where's my refund for my travel? I can't travel. And I saw somebody, a big coach online, saying, you can make this amazing passive income, one-to-many and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, this is just for me. I've got like just literally got a tax refund. And I was like, I'm going to spend it on this course. And I actually sold a pan bag as well to do the course because I needed the money. Backdoor Facebook marketplace selling, like that was the position I was at, right? And since then I've come on. I used to do a course with Facebook. I did really well. I had another child in the process, and it's coming kind of full circle for me right now. And I did post yesterday, and I've spoken to Jen. Um, I feel really demotivated right now because my business is not the way it wanted to be. I've invested in different coaches, programs, courses. I've had clients up here, clients down there, and my clients are saying the same kind of thing. They're saying to me, Sarah, I need some help. People are not buying the same way they used to. I don't think it's less buying, maybe there's more discernment, and um, there's a lot more like hold back. A lot of people are holding back more right now, especially when it comes to coaching, because so many people have been burnt, especially in the money making niches, in the kind of B2C niches when we're in the therapy and coaching, service based, things like that. People are taking longer to convert because the space is more noisier. Everybody's like, oh, coaching is a sham, and or it's like, oh, I tried a coach once and I wasted £5,000, that kind of thing. I've even got a client that's signed up to quite a big coach. They can't afford to pay the monthly, and the coach is like kind of threatening legal action against them. So it's all these kind of things that are happening. So this is why I wanted to really bring this conversation to the forefront. And actually, when I posted yesterday, I've had so many inboxes. I've asked for some permission to screenshot anonymously, and I can share with you guys of people that are saying the same thing. They're looking for part-time jobs, haven't had clients for 6 months. People are not buying. They're actually chasing shiny objects and low ticket courses or investing in things because they're just trying to find something that's working. And I kind of feel into 2025, we kind of need to be a bit more kind. This is why I love Jen's mission around our marketing and what we're promising, but also being more kind to each other. And, if you do need to get a part-time job to help your business, or, you don't get that 10 grand launch that you want, it's okay. Like, it's okay. It doesn't happen all the time to everybody, because we just, as women, I think, it's why we just beat ourselves up, right? So that's just what I wanted to share with you guys, and kind of start the conversation of my kind of point of view of going into 2025, what's going to maybe be happening, what we can do as like the hive mind to kind of help our clients and help others and help each other through these times, because things are going to change.
Yeah, so much. Thank you so much, Sarah. And thank you for bringing this really, really relevant topic up right now. And I think too, as we go into Black Friday, I'm seeing people hold back on even wanting to offer Black Friday offers because it's already so noisy and people are already so reticent to buy because of the noise in the marketplace. And we're about to get really noisy for Black Friday. So I'm really excited to hear about how we can work with that energy to help people feel more confident and more comfortable, rather than the urgency pressure that often happens around those kinds of sale periods. Okay, anybody else want to talk about how about your own experience or your clients with burnout before we move on?
I'll go ahead and say something. So I actually had posted when I kind of promoted this on my Instagram feed that I was so overwhelmed and burned out. And I've got that half naked 3-year-old that wants to get in on everything. I was so overwhelmed and burned out. It set my business back years, trying to listen to everything. Now, I am no stranger to the online business space. I started with blogging way back when on Zanga, if anybody remembers that. And I've followed this along the entire time. So I've seen how things have grown and evolved in the last 20 years, scary thought, with the arrival of social media and how we are being impacted by that, and watch as blogs evolved from kind of a way to peek into somebody's life to let me sell you something, let me solve your problem. I think what we've really had going on the last couple of years is we've had an overdose of hustle culture, and we have had too many self-proclaimed experts out there trying to tell you what to do. And it gets so confusing to listen to everything. And so I feel like that really causes a lot of the overwhelm and the burnout that people are feeling, because it's like we are constantly being shouted at. And I know for me personally, I had to super narrow down, like, who am I willing to listen to? Like, I unsubscribed from so many people's emails. I unfollowed so many people on Instagram. I will pick 1 to 2 experts in a field and I will listen to them. And I am done trying to listen to absolutely everybody else, because the constant noise of the internet, that's not helping my business. That's driving my business down.
100%. And I love that you brought that up, the listening to all the different people. I talk about this in terms of optimizing sales funnels when people are like, well, I would like my conversion to be better, or it's not converting, but they don't, know the metrics. They want to suddenly go in and change their entire sales page. And I'm like, no, you have a live page. We have some data. We're going to be good scientists and change one metric at one feature at a time, so we know what made the difference and what broke our funnel, right? Same thing I think applies if we're listening to all the different people and trying to implement all the different people's recommendations. We don't even know whose strategy worked for us and whose strategy caused the massive drop off. Thank you for bringing that up. Okay. Sarah, you mentioned that in our conversation in our Google Doc, that constant creation is exhausting. Do you feel like there's a way to reduce the pressure to produce without sacrificing our business growth? And how can we balance creativity with sustainability?
Well, I think some of this is actually strategy and platform dependent. So if you want to grow your business on Instagram right now, to be quite honest, if you want to grow it the way that you think you want to grow it, so you want to grow it big and get all these followings and get all these likes on these reels, and everyone's commenting, yes, I want your freebie, and you've got your money track set up like everyone else is saying that they're doing. You need to be posting 3 times a day. You need to be posting 3 times a day on Instagram right now to grow. I mean, that's just the way it is. I think it all depends on who you are and your energy. And most people, when they start out, are not marketers. Most of us are not marketers or not natural marketers. And we don't realize the amount of work it takes to market our business online. And there are other strategies you can use, like paid ads, low-cost paid ads with an email list, for example. But I'm quite honest, a lot of people don't have $300 a month to spend on ads right now. So it's a kind of chicken and egg situation. I think it's just being more kind to yourself and showing up in the right spaces and being very selective where you are, because it's really easy to do what I do and join 1,000 groups. But I can handle joining 1,000 groups because it's what I'm used to and what I'm good at. I can network, but a lot of people can't. And it's understanding being very selective and maybe taking 5 spaces online where you want to be and aligning your contact with that. That's just being really selective and choosing where you are, rather than trying to kind of post constantly, posting for the sake of it. And do you know what? Everybody says the same thing. Like, when you see all the content ads, it's like, post this way, post that way, post this way. And again, like Kate says, it's so confusing. Even I get confused. I'm like, oh, what's this? Oh, what's this thing? What's this ad that's popped on my feed? This looks good. Yeah, I just think being really selective where you are is key. You don't have to have a big audience to sell, contrary to popular belief. Okay, you don't. You just need a nice, engaged, nurtured audience. And if you're gonna try and go on Instagram like the gurus are right now, you're gonna burn out.
Yeah, so much. And I love that you mentioned the needing to post 3 times on Instagram. So we've all heard the advice, pick one platform where you feel the most comfortable, where your ideal client hangs out, and post there. And for a lot of us, we're like, well, I love Instagram because it's beautiful. and I think my ideal clients hang out there, but I haven't actually talked to any of my ideal clients, right? So I don't know where they hang out. But we're not evaluating our platform based on our energy capacity and our time capacity. I think that's so, so important for us to pick our platform based on the available energy and capacity that we have. I'm leaning more on Facebook these days because I can post one time a day on Facebook and actually get responses, but I don't have the bandwidth to post 3 times on Instagram and do a whole bunch of stories. And, I love Katie's Reels trend report. And when I do a reel, that's where I'm getting all of my music and my ideas from. But I don't have the energy to do like constant creation in Instagram. So I'm now using Instagram sort of as a like I'll cross post there, but I'm not putting all of my energy there because I don't have that. I don't have Instagram energy. I have Facebook energy. I'm old.
Jen, if you
Okay.
don't mind,
Yeah, go ahead.
well, unless you have something to move on to, but
Yeah,
I
no,
did
I would
want to
love to
speak
hear
to
from you
that.
because
Well, especially because we brought up Instagram, I feel like I want to say, okay, this might sound, there's so many things happening here. I think this is such a difficult topic because it's like a spider web. And once you pull one thing out, then you're like, actually, it relates to this thing. But especially on this topic, as particularly of content creation. Okay, so I don't know if you guys know, but Adam Mosseri, who's the head of Instagram, every once in a while he'll get on and he'll answer people's questions and stuff. And the wildest thing is just in the last like 10 days, his reels have been a lot more of like this sustainable content creation that a small pocket of us have been telling people for years versus the gurus that are literally trying to burn you out because they just want to sell you more stuff. Like they're like, you have to post this much because you have to buy my million hook cheat sheet list deal. And that's why they want you to post so much. Now, sometimes I have had clients who have posted 3 times a day, but she already had a team. She already had a book. She already had a podcast. She already had her offers, and she would block off her time to sit in her studio and make her stuff. But a lot of people don't do that. And so I just wanted to speak to that I like to work with businesses that want to stay as businesses and not content creators. Because the other thing is, the other flip side of this that, if we want to go off on a way tangent, is the people who try to be content creators and influencers and then they can't actually sell anything. It's happening more and more where the algorithms are trying to suck these people dry, and then these people get mad because they're like, I'm giving so much time and energy to this platform and it's paying me nothing. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to tell anybody to go be a content creator at this point, but there has to be a way that you can have a business and get your content out there. And then of course the other challenge is that with it used to be, and you guys all know this just from your marketing experience, that you used to be able to tell somebody something 7 times for it to sink into their minds. And now the statistics are telling us that they have to see it 21 times. So that's why, in a certain sense, we feel like we have to repeat ourselves more and we get worn out from it, but our people aren't necessarily getting worn out from it because they might not have seen it yet. So anyway, that's another thing that I feel like as we're talking about this, you guys are reminding me maybe in 2025, I need to show people how you can repurpose things in a really manageable way that doesn't blow your mind or blow anybody else's mind, but gets you out in front of people, that need to see your stuff. So yeah, just
yes, add me to the wait list for that, Katie. Right now. I'd take my money. Thank you. That's such an important point. Okay. So back to Katie. How has the pressure to always be selling changed over time for you, and how do you manage those expectations now? And what advice would you offer for dealing with the energy drain?
That's a question for me. The pressure to always be selling, is that what it said?
Yeah.
Well, it probably depends on your business model, because I've almost got 2 arms of my business right now, right? Where I have my one-to-one retainer clients, and those are always sold through DM conversations with people. because it's, you know, I have to honor my capacity for it. So like that's limited, right? The capacity of people that I can support with that. But just by the numbers, if I want to get more people into my trend report, there are known traffic and conversion benchmarks that I'm like, I have to get X number of people on the sales page if I want to see X number of people to sign up. So it's probably, I think it does depend on your business model. And the challenging part of, I feel like so many people who like part of what we're seeing, I think, is people who joined, who like picked up online business in COVID times, and they didn't have a chance like we did to find good support or education. So now that they're like, oh my gosh, my things aren't working. And you're like, yeah, well, it's because you came online when everybody did. So it was a lot easier to sell. And right now it's getting harder, but like some of this main like not tactics. So the main techniques, I would say, of marketing are the same, and they've always been the same. And they're about connections like we're doing, and they're about referrals and word of mouth and recommendations. And so I feel like, to me, that's always been the way I use social media, is how to like connect with people, how to shout out other people. Like honestly, part of the giveaway that I'm doing right now is because I'm like, these people are amazing. You guys need to know these people because I've learned from them. Like this gives me a chance to get them out there to you people. So yeah, it probably depends on your business model. And I would say some people who probably got into business didn't even realize, like, I feel like I didn't even realize that at first. Like I got in as just a freelancer, and then I started getting all these ads that were like, you have to get 10K months. And I'm like, do I? Like, why? Like, why do I? And now suddenly I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess I do. Like, I'm seeing your ad, you random person. And then that's the other thing that will be interesting in 2025. And we haven't even talked about AI yet. I don't know if that's on your thing, Jen, but that's another thing. But I have specifically been unfollowing anybody who uses straight like income claims in their marketing. And I think, didn't the FTC just come out with some, you know, new like language and stuff around that? Because I've always felt like if the coach is trying to sell me, they're like, hey, I just like, okay, like last week, I think I even shared this with some of you guys over Slack. Like last week was, I saw somebody's reel that she was like, I've collected 90K in cash while I'm on maternity leave in the last 6 weeks. And I'm like, okay, what? And then her whole point was that she wanted to teach people how to do that with her one method too. And I'm like, yeah, but I mean, there's so many other parts to that. And also, I'm glad that you only see me as a cash collected person and not as like a client that you want to take care of and serve. Like you only see me for the dollar sign that's above my head. So anyway, I would say that, you know, with that pressure to be selling, definitely depends on your business model, but also you have to find the right people to support you in whatever model you're trying to build. So
yeah, for sure. And I will post in this group, Evelyn Weiss shared into her groups yesterday, a YouTube video talking about the new FTC language around that. I will share into this group so that everyone has a chance to take a look at that, because it's very important for us to be legal. I'm seeing Jen's comment in Facebook saying she's hearing a universal call toward conscious, intentional choices, connection to self, and knowing our priorities and limitations. And I totally believe that. I think we're going to see, or we are going to need to return to building relationships with people. And I think that is the antidote to people feeling burnt out by offers, is when we actually are building relationships, not with a view, like you said, Katie, not with a view to, you know, be the cash collected, but to actually like help them solve that problem, deliver after you've, you know, sold them the thing. And that's why people like, you know, we all know Yael, we've been in her group except for Sarah. Yael also collected sold a bunch of spots in her coaching programs during her maternity leave, but she delivers. You know, she's going to actually follow that up by delivering really high quality coaching. And I think that's the difference, is when we're building those relationships and we are backing up our words with actual action. Okay.
Can I say something, Jen?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, Sarah.
I was just gonna say, like, that's such a good point because that feels so natural as us as like service-based great people. It just feels natural to connect with people because I'll go to make, oh, I feel so passionate about this. I'm gonna make a post about it. I'm totally that person. And then I go on and I see all these, oh, you need to be doing this. And I'm like, so then I second guess myself and I'm like, wait, no, this was really good. Why did I not do that? And I think it's funny you say that, Katie, too, about those that put like all their income. Oh, I made 10K, 20K. I have seen like a handful of them that they have gone completely ghosted the internet, come back, and their business is completely different. It's something they've pivoted. They're like, I was burnt out, overwhelmed. This is what I'm doing now. And I'm like, oh, like just saw one yesterday. And I was like, holy cow, like she was on all day, every day, stories, all of it. And then yeah. So yeah, that's it.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, Kate, before you go, I want to make the point there that then how do their clients feel who bought their method when they come back and say that they burned themselves out using that method? So it's on us to make sure that we are not selling the method that is burning us the F out, right? Because that's going to burn our clients out as well. And then when they see us pivot, they're going to feel like, well, what just happened here? You know, I got burned by this person who sold me a method that even she couldn't sustain, right? Kate, go ahead.
I was just going to say, we've heard before, or I think most people have probably heard before, that when you're on Instagram, you sell in the stories. And that's because you are connecting with people. People are feeling that personal connection with you when you're in the stories. People are wanting that personal connection. And again, we've all been in Yale's stuff. She'll follow up with you on DMs. She'll go after, like, she'll connect with you and she'll make it personal. And that's why you go, I like her. I'm gonna see about her stuff. And everybody's nodding their heads because they're like, yeah, that's, we know that. So we're really, I think as we're shifting into 2025, getting personal with our audiences is going to be so important. And I think another thing to point out too, with all these people who are constantly producing content, okay, they've got teams. They have teams. They have people doing their video editing and their writing and coming up with the ideas for them to film. People are doing everything for them. Okay, so don't feel like we have to be pressured. You don't have to put out that sort of content if you don't have that big giant team behind you. That's fine. It's fine. You do what you can. The other big trend that I see going into 2025 is that a lot of people are talking about doing cozy business or comfy business, just kind of doing business at the level of your limitations. And I love that. Like, absolutely, that is what we should be doing.
Yeah, the letting go of you have to have 10K months, to going back to Katie's point, what is your number that you need to be making? Because we do, like, if we're not making money, we just have an expensive hobby, right? But what is that number that you are looking to have that is the balance between enough income to cover the bills and the income goals that you have, and not so much that you're running yourself ragged and burning out?
I think we need to kind of maybe start an anti-income claim movement because actually, this week I was one Facebook group I was in. Oh, like I said, I'm in loads of Facebook groups for networking. Actually, two on both of them in. One of them's quite new and it's more of a digital products, the Hustle Babe group. And the other one was a well-established group. And they've both been closed down for income claims. One of them's been established for about 10 years. It had about 95,000 people in it. And they sell a business model where they say make 10K months by using their affiliate system. Now he has got proven results. I think it's just, I know how he's doing it. It's kind of a piggyback. He teaches them how to do ads to sell his service basically, but they've been shut down because of income claims. But like even myself, so I'm quite I'm a seasoned digital product creator, right? I have been lately, this is quite vulnerable for me to share. I've been questioning myself so much lately. I'm like, how are all these women making 300 grand in 6 months? Like, how are they doing it? Like, how are they doing it? Like, I work for 6 and 7 figure business owners, and they're not doing that. And they've got systems and stuff into place. Now, I've done quite a lot of research, and Jen knows me. My actual passion, no one knows about, is I create murder mystery games, right? So I'm a bit of a detective. I've got a few qualifications in some like private investigation and stuff that I did as a hobby. And a lot of these income claims, they're actually false, and they share screenshots. And there's actually a screenshot maker that you can get that creates a screenshot that looks like it's on your phone with incomes and like stripes that have been covered over. And I just, because I was like, look, I've got an Etsy store. I know how to build funnels. I know how to do paid ads. Like, I know how to create all of this stuff. Why is it that I just can't get myself together to do it? I'm not good enough. I don't want to do this business anymore. I feel jealous. That little girl in me again doesn't feel good enough. Like, this is real things that we probably all feel. A lot of coaches do this. When you see a coach saying, hey, I've just done a 50K launch, or my client's done my service and done a 50K launch, that's great. They may have done that, it may be true, but a lot of the time, there's a lot more that goes on in the background to get a 20, even a 10K launch. A lot that goes on. And this can be 2 years worth of nurture. This can be affiliates. This can be all different number of things. So maybe we can start an like a value movement. I don't want to say anti because that's a bit negative. A pro value movement.
Yeah,
Get away
value
with
first.
get away with the FOMO, the unethical FOMO and scarcity selling, because we've had enough of it right now. We just can't take it anymore.
Yep,
What do you guys
100%.
think?
All in for impact goals over income goals.
Yeah, I just wanted to chime in there and kind of off of what Sarah, you just were saying, because something that I did in my business, and I have someone that I hired as an employee, and we sat down together and said, what is our goal? And like, we are not financially driven. And we find that a lot of people that we work with are not financially driven either, because they are kind of pushing back against that same thing that we're all talking about here. But it's like goal driven. And what is the purpose? And do I really need 10K months? Do I really need to make $1 million? Do I really need blah, 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 like whatever, all these things. And I can tell you from working with some clients whose businesses are at similar levels, that everyone's number is different and that everyone's profit is different. And guess what? The way that accounting works, and I won't go diving too far into that, but even when they were at similar profit levels, one client had like dollars in her bank and were surviving check to check almost based on how she was using the money in her business or misusing the money in her business, and not being very clear about her goals and what her needs were. And so she was always scraping by, versus another person who had similar profitability, but she was having intention with, what do I do with that profit? What is my purpose with that profit? And sometimes I think when I see people make those claims about, I've made X dollar amounts a month, and agree with all of that, of like, you don't even know what goes into it. What is your profit at the end of the day? But that profit number too, or that profit percentage, still is not going to tell the whole story, because that doesn't equal what's actually in the bank and whatever they're doing with that profit afterwards. And so it's just like, sometimes when I see that stuff show up, it's like, when you're in behind the scenes and you see really what's going on, I wish that more people would be more honest about what they're doing or the intention behind their business and what they're building, and connect, like we said, and build relationships with people who are on that same path and who want that, and like almost niche down on what is the type of business owner you want to become, and not what is the amount of money that you want to hit on top line just so that you can have an award to shake around at people. I mean, that feels very bro hustle culture, but we're way beyond that. And even in the depths of that, there's a lot of women who do that, and it's just like so ick. I like, let's all just like build each other up and support each other on the foundation of what are the goals and the impact you want to make in the world, and what is enough for you. And there's no shame in the game if you want that impact to be $1 million either. That's amazing and awesome, because a lot of times I find with women, the reason why they want that amount of money is for something so beyond their own personal self-identity and making an impacts in other ways. So it's just like finding that passion and aligning with it.
I think
Yeah.
you've come up with a really good thing there. What business identity do you want? Rather than what system am I going to use? What funnel am I going to use? What color, what kind of social media am I going to use? What product am I going to sell? What kind of business owner do you want to be? What kind of business do you want to run? Like, what is your business avatar? Like, think about who you are. What does your business look like? You could even create it into a person, use AI, whatever. This is what my business is. This is who I want to be. Like, part of your brand identity. And I think a lot of people don't do that. I didn't do it for a very long time. I was just like, I want to be like that coach because she's got loads of money and I'm going to be happy and everyone's going to like me, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Okay.
well, just real quick point. Somebody I was trying out like a TikTok live, which that's completely bonkers. But I was on TikTok, and I saw one of my other marketing friends, and I had this, I don't know if we're gonna do it or how, or maybe I should just interview you guys each, but I wanted to start a series called like Lies the Internet Gurus Are Telling Us, because I feel like we've all been on the back end of so many of these businesses now that we can be like, hey, this is how it actually goes. When you see that headline on their sales page that says this, these are the things that went into it. So you have to know that, because you're not just going to be able to buy their program and have whatever they have instantly. But if you want to be able to do it, here's the steps to take. So anyway, let me know if you guys want to do that.
I had a client that bought one of those expensive programs from one of those high-end coaches. And she came to me and she's like, okay, I need to do this and this, and I need to be using this program and this program and this program. And I'm like, why? She's like, well, that's what she uses. And I'm like, but you have 0 people, 0. Like you don't start where she is. She's been at this for like 10, 12, 15 years, whatever. You're here. Where did she start? What did she start with? How did she start? You need to start at the start, because you try to start way up here and that's where you get burned. And she quit. Like I mean, I did as much as I could, but there's only so much you can do as a service provider on that end. But I've got clients all the time that come to me and they're like, okay, I've got this coach. This coach says, do this, this, and this, and I'm going to make millions. And I'm like, okay, one day maybe, but I've worked with other clients from this coach, and those aren't typical results of this coach. Like, yeah, she may have some clients that have gotten that, but I've worked with several of her clients, and I know that's not typical. And you cannot start where they are, because you're trying to jump all these spaces, and you are going to get burned out because you're running so fast on that treadmill because there's no other way to get way up here. And you have to start at the beginning. And that's where, when you're trying to follow a coach who does, all the things and makes all the money, and yes, it looks great and it's a great idea. But if you're trying to get there with skipping all these steps, you're gonna burn out. And I think that's what's happening to a lot of the consumer on the consumer side, is they come in and they're seeing all this and they're seeing these claims of like, do it this way, do it that way. Nobody's telling them how to start, how to keep it tight at the beginning. Like, when you start, you don't need 6,000 different like tech programs and different this and that. You need to start tight and keep it small, and then you grow as your business grows. And I think that's a step that a lot of people are missing. And that's where a lot of that burnout comes in, because they're trying to like get to way up here and they just can't sustainably.
Lisa, just to kind of go on that, it made me start thinking of the person who I'm right now doing some coaching for. So I never thought I'd ever do any coaching. I guess it's mentoring, but she's a copywriter and she wanted to go into SEO, and she like reached out to me and she was like explaining all these courses that were like $800, and oh, you can have all these results. And I'm like, you don't even know SEO yet. Like, you need to start at the beginning. So now, we're working one-on-one, and we're kind of making a plan of like, these are the most essential tools you need, because you don't need, as you said, all these expensive tools. And I think that like no one explains that to you in the beginning. They're like, oh, here's a course and you're going to make millions. And instead of saying, oh, well, you really need to know this and this, and you can learn it for free. But you need that, like, you need someone to tell you that, like, because otherwise you're misled to think you need to cough up a ton of money when you're not there yet.
So much, yes. I love how both of you are getting right in there with those clients and getting to know their situation and helping them at such a personal level. It's just really, this whole conversation has really been reminded me of that quote in You've Got Mail, where Meg Ryan says, everybody always says that, it's not business, it's not personal, it's business. Whatever else it is, business ought to be personal. I truly believe that, especially in the businesses that we have created. And I love this conversation. We could go on for, I think, another hour. We're almost at the end of our time. So I'd love for each of you to, give us your final thoughts. What do you think 2025 is going to bring, or what do we need to be doing in 2025 to help reach our clients and help them and us through this digital burnout that we have all been talking about today?
If I could go real quick, I'll try to keep it. So just going off of when we were talking about the courses and asking people to make these huge investments, from as a business owner side, I guess I would say that I feel like I'm seeing people have more success with like just tiny offers, like the lower ticket stuff, because it's not as much of a risk for your customer. And like earlier we'd mentioned, even the customer journey is just taking longer because people are just losing that trust. So I would say that even if you are a service provider who normally would charge whatever X amount for your like retainer services, and you totally should, like, you're well within your rights to charge whatever you need to for that, but I feel like everybody could benefit from having like those bite-size micro kind of offers that just shows what they do, and gives people, like, when they talk about a quick win, it's like, no, really, you probably know something that could make someone's life just like 1% better today if they spent $17 with you or something. So I did want to say that. And then the other thing is, and maybe in part 2 of this we can talk about AI, because I think it's weird. AI will keep eroding people's trust in everything that we see. But I think as much as we can, like, AI can be used as a tool for us, for our productivity, and to like maximize, let's say, our output. But also, I think we'll need to find rooms like this, or even like Kate, like you're talking about, like the cozy business, like fireside chats and stuff. Like if we ran summits, not as like these humongous, like meet a billion people, but if we ran them more as like a fireside chat, like here's insider transparent kind of stuff, then I think that will also like cut through and get through to people who will appreciate that kind of thing, and those are probably the people that we tend to want to work with anyways. So those are the 2 points I wanted to make.
Love that. Who's next?
I can go. I think my biggest thing, just overall in all of my life, is just simplicity, scaling it back. Because I almost like purchased another coaching thing, not like in the last week or so, and I was like, just focus on what you've got, use what you've got. Because I'm totally one that I don't dive as deep as I should in my coaching because I'm terrified. So a lot of it is just like simplicity in all aspects of life, which I'm trying, especially in business. Like, what can I offload to people and do what I enjoy, keep it genuine, and just try not to overthink it, which is all I ever do. So just take a breath, keep it simple.
Awesome. Yes, so much. Who else?
I'm going to just follow it up with Sarah, because I think we're in sync there, Sarah. I'm all about cutting out the things that do not serve you. So whether that is courses or coaches or service lines, the things that you're doing currently, and are like, I'm not making any money, but I keep on making courses. Maybe don't do that. Do something else that's bringing in helping you reach your goals, but also connections. I think in the past year, the thing that has, I mean, this year is again, a chart topping year for me. I've done really well. And I think it's because of having that support network, the women on this call, as well as people I've met one-on-one, and really like leaning into that authenticity and personalization. So that's where I'm hoping 2025 is going to go for everyone. It's been great.
I'd love that. And I'm going to pop mine in here as well because really want to comment on this, like stay on this thread for a second. One thing I think we can be doing is, even if we're not making new sales, looking at the people who have bought our courses or our memberships, looking at how much they have or haven't consumed inside the member portal, reaching out to them to say, hey, you know, I noticed you've been in my membership for almost a year now. I notice also you're not consuming a lot of stuff in the member portal. I want to make sure that you're getting what you need in just the calls, or you know, is there something else that I can help you, a place that I can help you get unstuck? Making that connection may help unlock for them the value that they've already purchased from us. And we want to be building those relationships, those loyal fans, because those are eventually going to, those long-term relationships eventually lead to more purchases. They lead to referrals. They lead to increased reputation for us, all of the things that help us in the long run with our businesses that don't have to necessarily be immediate sales. Okay, anybody else before we wrap up?
I'll follow up there. Oh, Kate, go ahead. You can go first.
Oh, it's okay. You go.
Okay. I was going to say, for me, a lot of it is to kind of battle back against that burnout, that feeling, that overwhelm, everything that is going on that we've all been talking about today, is dialing it back down to your intentionality. And to me, intentionality equals, what is my values alignment with the people I'm working with, the people that I'm connected with, the people that I'm taking courses from, the people that I am putting up on a pedestal to be one of the main voices in my head to help me figure out the next steps and to where I want to go forward. And always asking myself, does this align with my values? If I'm being sold something, does this align with where I'm at now or where I want to go in the next 3 months? And getting super clear about what those numbers are, what those milestones are. It does not have to be financial, but just focusing back on right now in this season, even if I want to make it really far to get to that $1 million, right? We talked about that, of like, just because I sold something 3 times does not equal next month I can suddenly have a 6-figure launch. Getting realistic and honest with myself that those are great aspirations and goals to get to, but right now, what is it going to take for me to get to the next step so that I can continue to work towards that bigger goal, that bigger impact, and making sure that I'm always checking in with, is that impact still on track with where I am in my own values, and supporting the type of life that I want to build for myself.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. I think the best thing you can do when it comes to actually getting past burnout is, number one, scale back. Look at why you're doing what you're doing. Don't pressure yourself to get those 10K months. Like, do you actually need a 10K month? Maybe, depends on where you live. I live in the Midwest. I'm in a fairly low cost of living area. So if I can make $6,000 a month, holy cow, that's amazing. That's life-changing for my family. I don't need a $10,000 month, and I don't need the pressure that comes with trying to do a $10,000 month. So for me, that's not worth it. So scaling back, like I said before, listening, choosing who you're going to listen to. And then just keeping your focus on why you're doing what you're doing. I think as we go into 2025, we're going to see a lot more focus from the consumer client perspective of wanting those personal relationships, of wanting to feel like they can connect with you. So be authentic, show up as yourself. Because especially with the rise of AI, you know, we've seen that clients are not necessarily responding well to AI generated content, even though it may make things easier on us. So being able to continue to let your true personality shine through is going to make a huge difference in how business goes moving forward.
We've talked about the connection that we want to make with our clients and getting personal, but I think one of the other ways to battle burnout in ourselves, excuse me, is we have to find those people that we connect with that can help support us and we can help support them. Because 9 times out of 10, the people in your real life haven't a clue. My husband, bless him, he tries. I mean, he does. He's like, how's it going? How's your business going? And I'm like, and I'll start talking, and it's like, you know, it's like,
The
and he
eyes
try, and he
glaze
really does try,
over.
yeah. And I'll have a couple suggestions, and and he's like, oh, what can I do to help you? And he wants to help, but he just, it's just not the same. But then when we try to find somebody online, we're like, okay, who can we reach out to? Who we make that connection with? Who can we be friends with? But I don't want to offend them and not like offer to pay them for their advice or their like friendship, which I know sounds silly, but like, how does that work? How do we find that person, those people, without paying for them? Which, like, you know what I mean? Like, and how much support is too much to ask for? There's the kid coming through. And how much support is too much to ask for? How much feedback is too much to ask for before you should feel like you're paying them? Like, what's that balance? And how do we find that person? How do we find those people that are going to support us and help us? Because we weren't meant to do life alone.
Yeah, just one thing to add for me is when we're building our business, what we spoke about earlier around what type of business do you want? Not everybody is meant to be a big multi 7-figure membership owner. Not everybody is meant to be a big, course creator that sells thousands on ads. Not everyone is meant to be that big coach or that big person, and that's okay. It's understanding, actually, if you try a system and it doesn't work, it's not necessarily because you've done something wrong or because the coach has done something wrong, because the coach is, that it could be the strategy or the system could be really good and it works for them, but not everything is going to work for you. And if you just because you invest a lot of money in it doesn't mean it's going to work. So it's about understanding who you are as a person and what you want to be, and understanding why you want to be a membership owner. Because remember, a lot of the way people grow their business a lot of the time are strategic decisions. And I see a lot of people fall into the trap of becoming a membership owner because they don't want to sell their services at high ticket because they're scared. So they'll sell it at a low cost, $27, but they still have the same people pleasing and still have the same boundaries that are gone short. But you're just selling it for $27 instead of $2,700. And then it becomes a really, trust me, it's a hard hustle. I was selling a membership 2 years ago for £15 a month. It's hard selling it. It's actually harder than selling a $1,500 one, So it's okay. Yeah, guys, it's okay to test and implement and just find out who you are. That's my last thing.
I love that. And forgive ourselves, but let go of the shame, blame, and guilt we're putting on ourselves for spending $5,000 on that course that didn't end up being aligned with our way of doing business. That's how we learn. We make mistakes, and that's how we learn, right? We try different things, and that's how we learn. We're mad scientists again. We're testing, always trying and experimenting in business. And I think 2025 is the year, if you have not experimented with really building deep relationships with your people, highly recommend that this is your next experiment. Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for being so generous with your time. It's 11:11 a.m. here, and I think that is like serendipity for us. I will be posting in the comments here a list of all of these beautiful ladies and one of their offers that they make that helps their clients in ways that reduce burnout and eliminate some of these stresses that we've been talking about. So please do check those out. And please connect with these amazing ladies. They're doing great work. So thank you everyone for showing up here today. We've got to do this again. I had so much fun. We'll pick another topic and somebody can volunteer their group and we'll do this like once a month. That sounds great to me. All right. Thank you so much. Everyone have a fantastic Halloween. Be safe out there. Bring your black cats inside.
Hey.
And I will see you all. Yeah.
Can we get a picture real quick, you
Oh,
guys?
yep. I'm so sad that we missed Sarah. I'll get a
Yeah, I know. I
screenshot
was
of
trying to
Sarah.
just get her before she left. Okay, let's just get real quick. Ready? Smile. Yay.
Thank you, Katie. I'm always forgetting to do that. All right. Oh, Kate's got the kitty. Woohoo! I'm amazed I have not had any cats show up today. All right. Thank you so much. Have a fantastic Halloween. Have a great week and weekend, and I will see you all in the groups and on the interwebs. Bye, everyone.